we're just going to be doing a quick comparison between the OnePlus 7 Pro and the Galaxy S10. Now, there's a lot of videos of the OnePlus 7 Pro versus the Galaxy S10 Plus. I'm just going to do the regular S10 because obviously I don't have the S Plus, and I think a lot of people have already seen comparisons between the S Plus, S10 Plus, and the OnePlus 7 Pro. So let's go ahead and get down into it. Both of these devices are really excellent devices. OnePlus is obviously cheaper than the Galaxy S10. They both have almost the same specs as far as RAM and chipsets and Android version. Let's go ahead and start off with the OnePlus 7 Pro. Now keep in mind that this OnePlus, I do have the Android Q developer preview running on here, but when you buy this device and you get it out of the box, it will be running Android 9. So let's go ahead and get started with the display. The display is a 6.67 inch fluid AMOLED display, really excellent colors. I believe it is made by Samsung, so you get all the punchy color, saturation, deep blacks, real excellent colors. It does not get as bright as the Samsung S10, but it still gets bright enough for outdoor use. You got a resolution of 1440 by 3120 and 516 pixels per inch. You do have a curved bezel-less type display on here, which is really nice. Let's go and give you guys a look of how the display is. So it pretty much goes edge to edge with a little thin strip of bezel going around it, but it is curved. A lot of people may not like that as far as accidental touches, and the curve is a little bit wider than it is on the S10, and you do get a little bit of a glare on that as well. Like I said, curved glass. It is Gorilla Glass 5. You got different options as far as HDR10 plus, DCI P3, 90 Hertz refresh rate, which is excellent on here. And to me, this is why I love this phone more than the Galaxy S10, is just because of the refresh rate is just really nice and smooth and fluid. And as you can see right here, you could change it between 90 and 60. Obviously keep it on 90. It's just going from this device to the Samsung S10. The S10 just feels a lot clunkier when using it compared to the OnePlus. So display wise, I really do like the OnePlus. Display wise over here on the S10, it is a 6.1 inch dynamic AMOLED is what they're calling it. Resolution of 1440 by 3040, and it has 550 pixels per inch, and it is to a curved display, but the curve isn't as prominent as the OnePlus. It's a little bit more of a sharper curve on there, but it's still an excellent display, probably the best display you could get on the market right now. It is covered by Corning Gorilla Glass 6. It does support HDR10, and you do have an always-on display on here as well. Compared to the OnePlus 7 Pro is an ambient display, so it doesn't stay on all the time. Only if you were to click it or raise the device up, the ambient display comes on. I much prefer a always-on display as to an ambient display, just because it's always on. Sure, it may waste a little bit more battery, but that's just what I like the most, is always seeing notifications and whatever, information you get on there. As far as body goes, both devices are made out of glass and aluminum, which is pretty much the standard of most phones nowadays. I got a D-brand skin, not a D-brand skin, a skin from Gadget Shields on the OnePlus 7 Pro. The Samsung, I do not have anything on there. Both are excellent devices, really nicely built, quality, really flashy. I think the S10 looks a little bit more polished and more fancier than the OnePlus, but they're both excellent phones. The OnePlus is bigger than the Galaxy S10, And keep in mind, it is a huge phone coming in at 6.67 inches. This phone is really, really big in the hand. So a lot of people with smaller hands may not like that. I prefer bigger displays, to watch videos on. But you put this in your pocket, it is definitely a lot easier to carry around the S10 compared to the OnePlus, because every now and then you do notice that it does get in the way in your pocket, whenever you kneel down or something, it does get in the way, and it is a heavy phone. As far as weight goes on the OnePlus, it is 7.27 ounces as compared to the Galaxy S10, which is 5.54 ounces, so it is a lot heavier. As far as size-wise, the OnePlus is 6.40 inches tall, 2.99 wide, and 0.35 thick. So it is a really, really thick phone, really heavy phone, and a big phone. Compared to the Samsung Galaxy S10, it's 5.90 inches tall, 2.77 wide, and 0.31 thick. So it is a lighter, thinner device, and you could definitely feel the difference between these two. So as far as that goes, it just totally depends on what you prefer as far as size goes. I'm glad I have both of these just to get the best of both worlds. One small, compact, and one is nice and big, excellent for viewing content, playing games, and etc. As far as the platform goes, like I said, the OnePlus 7 Pro does run on Android Pie. The latest update right now is Oxygen OS 9.5.11. But like I said, I have the developer preview of Android Q on here. It runs great. There are little bugs on it, as far as when you're on a phone call. Even though you have it on phone, it still seems like it's using the speakers at the bottom. So that's a little awkward talking to somebody on the phone, and other people could still hear even though you switch on over the speaker. It's really weird, but hopefully they fix it on there. I'll just have to use Bluetooth for now. The Samsung over here is running Android Pie as well, and it's got Samsung's One UI on there. Both of these phones have Snapdragon 855 processor. Both have 8 gigabytes of RAM. The OnePlus coming in ahead at 256 gigabytes of storage, while on the Samsung you have 128 gigabytes of storage on there. Not a huge deal. The Samsung wins a little bit on the storage side. It does support micro SD card expansion up here at the top with the SIM card tray. The OnePlus 7 Pro does not, but they both have their wins on there. The OnePlus 7 Pro has more storage, and it has a faster UFS 3.0 storage, so you get a lot faster speeds when transferring files from your computer and saving them to your phone and everything like that. So both of them have their wins in a certain area. Micro SD card expansion, faster updated storage over here, more storage on the OnePlus, but you could expand the storage on the Samsung up to 1 terabyte. So it's win-win for both of them. Camera-wise, on the OnePlus 7 Pro, you get a 3-camera setup. Both of these phones have 3 cameras. On the OnePlus 7 Pro, you have a 48 megapixel main sensor with an aperture of f1.6, and it does support autofocus and optical image stabilization on there. So really, really nice camera. 48 megapixels, although it does dumb it down a little bit. The only way to get 48 megapixels on there is to go into Pro mode and actually do the 48 megapixel in there. The second camera is an 8 megapixel telephoto camera with aperture of f2.4 with 3 times optical zoom, and that too does have autofocus and OIS. The third camera is a 16 megapixel wide angle ultra wide camera with an aperture of f2.2, and it does not have autofocus or anything. You cannot record video using the wide angle camera on here, and everything does record up to 4K at 60 frames per second on the OnePlus. Front facing camera, give it to the win on the OnePlus. Not as win as quality wise, but for, I guess, engineering, whatever, because the front-facing camera does pop up from the top, giving you that extra screen real estate, and it is really, really cool. Front-facing camera does only record at 1080p at 30 frames per second, but it is a 16 megapixel, I believe, front-facing camera with an aperture of f2.2, and aperture f2.0, sorry, and 1080p 30 frames per second. So yeah, the camera on the OnePlus, the other cameras are really good. Front-facing camera is really good, but as far as quality-wise, I have to give that to the Samsung Galaxy S10. It does also have 3 cameras on the back. The main sensor is a 12 megapixel sensor with aperture f1.5 and f2.4, which means it switches apertures depending on the lighting situation that you are in, which is really, really nice. And it does still take really good pictures. Second camera is a 12 megapixel f2.4 telephoto lens with only 2 times optical zoom. Both of these have autofocus and OIS. The ultra wide camera is a 16 megapixel f2.2 ultra wide, and they all record 4K 60 frames per second, and it does support HDR10 recording, and you can record video using the ultra wide camera on the Samsung as well. So that is really, really nice. Front facing camera on the Samsung is going to be a 10 megapixel camera with aperture f1.9 autofocus, and it does record 4K up to 30 frames per second. So as far as quality wise and more usage of the cameras, gonna have to give the win to the S10. You can record in 4K 60 frames per second. You record 4K on the front facing camera, and you could also record video using the wide angle, which on the OnePlus 7 Pro you cannot do that. Front facing camera caps out at 1080p, but they are both good cameras, don't get me wrong. Especially for the average user, you're not going to notice a difference in quality using these cameras. Unless you're a tech junkie, then you're going to sit there and analyze every single megapixel on there, put it on your computer and analyze everything. For the average user, these are excellent cameras. You can't go wrong. For me, I'm going to give it to the Samsung as far as quality wise. As far as engineering and ingenuity or whatever, the OnePlus is really cool with that slide up front facing camera, and it gives it more extra real estate, while on the Samsung you do get the whole cut up. Sound on both of these, they do both support Dolby Audio and Dolby Atmos, which on the Samsung over here, you do have all of these different settings: auto, movie, music, voice, etc. On the Samsung, on the OnePlus 2, you do support Dolby Atmos, dynamic movie, music, and you have style preferences. They both have stereo speakers. I'm going to have to probably give this to the Samsung. It has a louder, more clearer, crispier sound. The OnePlus still is really good and does sound really excellent as far as sound goes. So no issues here. Both of them sound really well. They both have a bottom firing speaker, and they both use the top earpiece as an extra speaker as well. So both of these devices are better at stereo speakers and really, really good, but I'll probably give the win to the Samsung for having better audio sound. The sound does sound a little bit better, and Samsung also includes a headphone jack on here, which is going away, especially on the Note 10. The OnePlus does not have a headphone jack. You have to use a dongle on it. So yeah, that is a bummer, but like I said, audio wise, probably go with the Samsung. Batteries, the OnePlus has a 4,000 milliamp hour battery with warp charge 30 watt and fast charge. So you have a warp charge 30 watt charging on the OnePlus, and this thing is lightning fast. You could top out in like less than an hour. On here, the Samsung battery is a 3,400 milliamp hour battery with fast charging 15 watt, and it does support wireless charging, which the OnePlus 7 does not. And the Samsung also has reverse wireless charging, so you could set your smartwatch or earbuds on the back, and you could charge them as well on the Samsung. Battery life, of course, is going to be better on the OnePlus. Samsung has okay battery life for what it is, but the OnePlus obviously kicks this phone's ass. So battery life, I'll give the win to the OnePlus 7 Pro. And yeah, excellent phones. They still have great batteries and nothing to complain about here. But yeah, as far as battery wise, the OnePlus obviously has better, bigger battery. No wireless charging, unfortunately, if a lot of people like that. You do have more options of charging on the S10 as far as wireless charging, plugging it in and stuff like that. OnePlus is just one way of charging it, and you have to use the cable and the charging brick that comes with it in order to get that 30-watt charging, because everything is built into the charging brick. Nothing is on the phone, and it does have a cooling feature to where you could charge it fast and still use the phone, play games on it, and it won't get hot because everything is going through the charger and not being used on the phone. So that's a really cool feature. Samsung still down to the 15-watt charging, but it does have fast wireless charging available as well. So more options to charge this on the go rather than having to carry around your cable, proprietary cable for the OnePlus 7 Pro. As far as price-wise, the OnePlus 7 Pro, I believe, is $699 on T-Mobile, 48GB version. And it might have gone down a little bit. They only have the one version of it, and it is the Nebula Blue model, and 256GB of storage. Might have gone down in price by now, but when I got it, it was $699. No money down to do your jump on demand on it. But I paid money down because I'm purchasing this device as I go, just doing payments on it. The S10 Plus is the one that's on jump on demand for me right now. The Samsung comes in at about $899, 8GB, 128GB of internal storage. Now this one probably has gone down in price. The Samsung probably has gone down in price. When I first wanted to get it, they wanted, I believe it was like $170 down, and due to JOD on it. But then I waited, and then it went down to no money down, so I went ahead and got this one because I had the S10e, and I much prefer the full-size S10 rather than the S10e. Colors the OnePlus comes in is going to be Nebula Blue, Mirror Gray, and an almond color. I wish I could show you guys a Nebula Blue. Check out my other videos if you want to see more details on that color, since I have a skin on here. The colors for the Samsung are going to be Prism White, Prism Black. This is the Prism Blue variant of it. You have a Prism Green and a Flamingo Pink. Flamingo Pink is another one that's on T-Mobile, and of course the black and then the Prism White are going to be on T-Mobile for the S10. So excellent devices. Like I said, I'm glad I have both of them because I get the best of both worlds. Over here on the OnePlus, the software is a lot cleaner and lighter than Samsung's One UI. So you get more options and features on the Samsung than you do on the OnePlus. Samsungs are just really rich phones as far as features go. You get your whole Galaxy theme store, wallpapers, always on display, animations, themes. You get all of this stuff on the Samsung device. You get a whole bunch of advanced features on here. Bixby, I don't use Bixby. You just have a whole bunch of different options as far as motions, and you could do a lot more on the Samsung just because they have so many features packed in here, while the OnePlus is a little bit more lighter and faster with the Oxygen OS, which I think is a little bit better than Samsung's operating system, although Samsung's One UI has gotten a lot better, and it's just one of my favorite skins that Samsung has ever had in the past. One UI is just absolutely killing it on the Samsung phones. Everything just gets put down at the bottom, which is easily accessible. The OnePlus is almost the same. Really, really nice, really good, and really easily accessible. The OnePlus is a little bit more lighter, and you do get more customizations on here as far as customizing your accent colors and having an actual dark theme on here. Samsung does have a night theme, night mode on here, but it's not completely black. There are some grays on here, while on the OnePlus you can go completely black on everything with the OnePlus. Navigations are probably a little bit better on the OnePlus than they are on the Samsung, but they both offer full screen navigations as well. But as far as maybe software goes and operating system, I'll probably have to give the win slightly more towards the OnePlus, just because it is lighter, it is faster, and it's just really nice. It's stock. It's almost like stock Google, but it has extra little features as far as, you know, gestures when you're on the ambient display, or when your phone is off, you could go ahead and play tracks on there like that, or you could pause it whenever you want as well when you're on the screen is off. While on the Samsung, you sort of have to double tap on the always on display and then scroll on over to your music player, which on the OnePlus you could just do it while it's just sitting here off, which is really nice. And one of the reasons why I like listening to music while I'm at work, I could just set my OnePlus on the table and just draw gestures on it if I want to skip tracks or whatnot. So software wise, I'm gonna have to go with the OnePlus. Fingerprint sensors on here, they both have in-display fingerprint sensors. As you can see, the OnePlus is a bit more faster than the Samsung, which I'll go ahead and show you guys. Samsung is a little bit slower than OnePlus's, so let's go ahead and try that again. Samsung's, you have to set it in the perfect spot, which has been annoying me lately as far as Samsung goes. So yeah, I'd have to give the win for fingerprint sensors to the OnePlus. It is a lot faster, probably not as secure as the Samsung's, but as far as usability, it's a lot faster. You get into your device a lot quicker. They both have facial recognition, so on the OnePlus you swipe up, your camera will pop up, and then it will unlock your phone. Same thing on the Samsung. You unlock it, it will unlock as soon as it gets my face. Okay, it's not reading my face right now, so let's try this again. Well, it's not wanting to read my face right now, so, but they do both offer face unlock. They both work about the same, so no complaints there. But as far as fingerprint sensors, I'll have to give the win to the OnePlus 7 Pro, just because it's faster and a lot easier to use than the Samsungs. I get a lot of mishits on the Samsung than I do on the OnePlus, just in my usage of both of these devices. I prefer using the OnePlus 7 Pro. I find myself coming to this the most over the Samsung. Of course, I do switch between these two a lot display wise. I'm gonna have to give that to the OnePlus just because of that 90 Hz refresh rate. Quality wise though, the Samsung's display is really good as far as colors go, brightness, saturation. But as far as the refresh rate, the OnePlus kicks its ass by far, just because it's a lot smoother. Storage wise, OnePlus wins, has more storage, but then you get option for micro SD card on here, so it might be a little bit of a draw on that between storage of these two phones. Cameras, probably give the win to the Samsung just because you have more options on there. OnePlus, you do have a lot of the same options on there as far as 3 cameras, but you can't do as much with those cameras like you can on the Samsung device. OnePlus cameras have gotten a lot better over time through software updates. Keep that in mind. This Samsung does not have night mode for cameras yet. I'm on T-Mobile. I still have not gotten the damn update for that. OnePlus 7 Pro, it does have a nightscape mode and it works really well. So with that being said, guys, this has been my comparison between the OnePlus 7 Pro and the Samsung Galaxy S10. Two excellent devices. If you have the privilege of owning both of these at the same time, I say do it. It gives you the best of both worlds, and I'm glad that these are the two phones that I have right now. Probably won't be changing anytime soon. The Note 10, I think, is going to be way too expensive, and it's just not going to offer as much as far as the Note 9 did. And I wish that T-Mobile kept the Note 9 instead of getting rid of it. They should have just kept it and discounted it even more to give people a chance to get the Note 9 instead of the Note 10. But that's a different story. Different rant for another video maybe. But this has been my comparison on the OnePlus 7 Pro and the Samsung Galaxy S10. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments down below which one you like or which one you have and which one you prefer. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Hit that little notification bell for future notifications on my channel. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.